What's going on, people? So I recorded a review yesterday about, who knows what it was. Either way, at some point in there, I mentioned my buddy up there, Cam. He's the one on my right, your left, right? So that guy up there, his dog, not doing so great. It has some surgery, which was super expensive. Some things kind of needed to happen in the spur of the moment, basically. So stuff was added on, which means costs were added on. Then he left, was still not feeling so great, so he had to go back. That whole thing. I guess that's the thing that happens if you have like some very involved surgeries and whatnot. I kind of get it. But here's the thing, right? Here's the point. If you wouldn't mind, if you have it in your heart or whatever, go ahead. There's going to be a Sneaker Hearts link down in the description and all that stuff. Go ahead over there. There's a little donate link. You can kind of help him pay for that, right? The dude spends pretty much 24 of the 24 hours every day helping other people, making their lives easier, a little more comfortable, and so to speak. So if you can maybe help do the same for him, that'd be pretty cool. I mean, I think it would anyway. Maybe you disagree, and because maybe you're one of the heartless types. I get it. Anyways, so just a bit of a follow-up to what I was saying at some point earlier in this video, or later, depending on where I place this. So Stu, the dog, did not make it, unfortunately. Things just kind of took a weird turn after a while, and that was kind of that, unfortunately. It really sucks a lot, especially for Cam. He'd been very close with Stu for however long, I'm not exactly sure, but it's been a good while. And on top of that, he had been kind of helpful with taking the other dogs, like rescue dogs, things like that, from whatever weird situations they were living in, and helping them become functional pieces of normal dog society, or whatever the case may be. So his presence will be missed and all that good stuff. If you still want to donate, you still can, because obviously like, the bills and whatnot are still there. There's other stuff to pay for and whatnot. Or you can at least go and just say something nice. But either way, links are down there in the description. Do what makes sense. Let's move on and talk about these shoes here. So here's the thing, right? I've been looking forward to these kind of for a while, right? Because I bought these slides here, which happen to be near me. Bought these here slides, ZX8000 Aqua slides, and then I saw these shoes coming around, and I was like, well, naturally I have to get these. I'm gonna try and do my best not to have to edit this, but my allergies are kind of like going a little crazy today, and I don't want to have a bunch of sneezing in here. So if you do see any edits, that's where they are. Otherwise, just know that I powered through. If you don't see any edits, let's do this. So this right here, right? We'll just start this thing from the top and get through this so I can move on. This right here, according to the side of the box anyway, is the ZX8000 in light blue and some other something or other. The colors on the side of the box are just very abbreviated, so I don't know. But either way, what it comes down to is that this is obviously a ZX8000 in the Aqua colorway. Nobody's going to argue that. So we're going to talk about it, give you some thoughts and all that good stuff, and I'll let you know why this pair is not sticking around. It happens. Let's go ahead and start this thing with the bottom, shall we? Down there across the bottom, here's what you're looking at, right? So it looks pretty plain to me. You got a nice little torsion thing in yellow, and for the most part, it's just very plain black. So, whatever. Moving on up here to the midsole, what you're seeing up here, it's not quite that aqua color. You can tell that from the picture. And then down here across the front area, you do got a little bit of yellow, which matches up with what you see on the rear side of the inside in that same yellow. Make sense? You see the picture, it makes sense. Now, moving on from all that, because that's pretty much just your simple stuff. The upper here, though, this is where things start to get pretty nice, right? This is my first pair of these, so I didn't really know what to expect. I just knew I liked the colors, and I was hoping that they'd be all right. And they're all right. They totally are. So let's go ahead and jump on in here, and we'll start with one of the reasons why this pair is not sticking around. Right here around the toe box, right? Very nice material. It really is. It feels super soft. This here suede that they have going on. Not so much of like the change in color. You can kind of catch it if you look at it from the right angles. But down here, if you zoom in on that front area, which you probably saw already, it's a little bit of a glue stain, that sort of thing going on down there. And I'm not okay with that, right? So that was a problem for me. But anyways, as far as just the look of the shoe though, we're down around there. It looks pretty nice, feels pretty nice. So that's cool. And then as you move to the rest of the shoe, you do have a little bit more of that same suede outlining around where the laces are, kind of, sort of. And then back here around where the heel is, right? So that's pretty good. Now, moving back up here to the middle-ish area, you do have those three stripes. You got a bit of a yellow and a bit of a purple going on in there. And behind that, you have the same meshy style thing as you see on the toe box. So when it comes to that, this area here, the same thing here, very nice. Feels pretty, it doesn't feel like the softest I've ever felt or anything. I'm not going to oversell it. It's good, right? And it feels plush. So, that's a plus, right? But as far as just to the touch, it doesn't really beat a lot of the other things, though it still gets a thumbs up, if that makes sense. So moving on from there, right, because you kind of get that. Coming on back to the heel area, you got this sort of heel cup going on and a bit of plastic, and down here in the middle, you see that you got some purple with a little circled out sort of thing, kind of like, I don't know what that is. It's like a grid almost in a sense, of circles. It looks like it might just be see-through to let you see the actual suede that's behind there. I'm not 100% sure, but that's just the kind of the vibe that it gives me. And so that is, for the most part, the shoe, right? And you do have something that appears to be 3M. I'll get that figured out later, right here around the upper part where the ankle will be. So let's go ahead and switch things. Actually, you know what? The inside here. Let's zoom in on this, because this is the other area where there's a problem. See that right there? Yeah, maybe you do. That also not okay. Now that could possibly be cleaned up, but at that point when I saw that, I was like, you know what? These are still in stock. I've already ordered my other pair, so I'm gonna send these back and just be done with it. I'll probably wait for the second pair to come in just so I can make sure, and in case they send me another pair and say the left one is bad on that one, this left one is good, so I'll just keep this one, do that sort of thing. Anyways, so moving back on into the actual review things and all that, just to let you know, these stripes down here, which I kind of glossed over, it is kind of like a knitted sort of material or whatever, kind of just like stitched down onto there. So it kind of feels kind of good, right? And down here on the bottom and on the inside here on the bottom as well, you got a nice little purple suede that feels just as good as the aqua teal sort of color. So, laces, right? The laces are just a little bit different than I would expect. So you do have, like I was saying, you got the suede outlining them, but then on the inside you have this little plastic lighter aqua piece with, a different form of aqua laces. I don't know. One of these colors is aqua. I'm not sure which one, not anymore, but one of them is. So anyways, you got that going on. It's kind of detached, you know what I mean? So it's a little flimsy, because then you look up here and this part is just kind of hanging off by itself. So is this. So it's a weird design, but it's at least not cheap looking, you know what I mean? Kind of like those VaporMax 2020s where they look kind of cheap and then you think this thing might break. These, it looks flimsy, but it feels sturdy. So keep that in mind if you're looking to get a pair. And then down at the bottom, you've got that little torsion thing going on, right? And the tongue, nothing fancy about it. It's the same mesh that you saw in the bulk of the rest of the shoe. And then at the top, you've got this little stitched on piece, kind of similar to how they do some of the Air Max 90s and stuff. It just says the Adidas thing at the bottom. It has that older, I don't know, what is it, like a flower logo or something? If anybody knows what this logo is, feel free to let me know. And then on the back, you have the Adidas Torsion ZX8000 on the inside there. Just in case you're wondering, there is something on the inside. Speaking of the inside, let's go ahead and finish this review off. Down on there, you're seeing Adidas and some words. I didn't read them, but I'll put a picture in there and then I'll figure out what it says later. So there we go. We've done it. We've made it through the review of the outside. I'll hit you with my personal thoughts and get some more pictures in there for you. I really like the way these came out. I do. I don't like the little blemishes and whatnot, which is a rarity for Adidas. So I'm not going to really hold it against them and complain, especially since they're still in stock and I've already bought a new pair. But just looking at these, I am totally on board with these. And I am possibly going to get more pair if more colors come around that I like. Because, hey, they're relatively cheap. They come in at $140 retail. There's a sale going on right now. If you use the discount code of spring, that brings them down to about $111 shipped. At least if you live in Virginia, taxes. So that's pretty good. Definitely pretty good. One thing that sucks is I did have a 30% off code when I bought these, so I'm kind of losing some money in there somewhere, but I get enough of my shoes under retail, it doesn't matter. Sizing matters. Let's talk about that. So here's the thing. I bought these in a 9.5, right? Because that's the size that I buy in shoes. And these fit perfectly, right? I would compare the fit of these to like the Gel Light 3s, to the Air Max 90s, things like that, as far as how it feels, right? So whatever size you would normally buy in your standard casual type shoes, or whatever shoes you wear, buy that size in these and you will likely be just fine. I didn't seem to find too much room or too little room. They were just like right there in the middle, so definitely get a thumbs up for me on the sizing. Comfort, also thumbs up. Why, you ask? Well, it's because these feel really good, right? Easy answer to an easy question. But here's the thing, right? I would say personally, like, I kind of felt that these were a little more comfortable than the Air Max 90s. I tried on a pair of Recrafts to walk around and get a little refresher. I'm siding with these, I'm very sure. But again, this was my first time wearing these right out of the box, just a few minutes walking around here. Not the most substantial bit of information to go off of, but first impressions do matter a good bit. I wouldn't say they're necessarily better than the Gel Light 3s. I would say the upper is, though. The upper is phenomenal compared to those. These materials on here, the plushness of everything, the higher quality, these just feel really good in the upper. The midsole, though, it's good as well, but that's kind of like, it depends on you and what you really like. But I would say that overall, these, you're not going to go wrong if you pick up a pair. I'm not trying to oversell them or anything, I never do, but I just got to speak based on what I found, and that's what I found. And now that I've passed that on to you, do whatever you want with that information. I got a live to do in a little bit here, so I'm just going to wrap this thing up, people. Have a nice rest of your day, or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. If you can, again, throw a few dollars to Cam up there from the Sneaker Hearts crew and all that good stuff, because he could totally use it, because apparently dog surgeries are not cheap. So there's that for you. For now, later, people.